AI art could never create this piece that I just made. It couldn't, not in a million years, okay? It doesn't have the same kind of drive and insanity that I possess, okay? No matter how many prompts you put into it, it's never gonna make anything that has the same kind of energy as Furina absolutely losing her shit, while Arlecchino looks very nonchalant and very out of it and very Arlecchino. And the thing is, the truth of the matter is, why on earth are we as artists so worried about what people who don't value us think? People that want to get AR art will get it regardless. But people that want to get art from human beings are more plentiful than those other demographics. Like people that want AR art, you know the kinds, crypto bros, tech bros, NFT dudes, and all that BS. And some of them are even your friends too, but we'll not talk about that. But the thing is, you know the kind of genre of people that would much rather make something that looks absolutely disgusting with very unrealistic proportions or like so many mistakes. They would much rather that than to give an artist money, because they don't believe art is real work. Like that's really the truth of the matter. People that make AR art and condone it and, you know, you use it and advocate for it, they don't value artists as human beings. They don't value art as a career or as a profession or as work. Even though sometimes it's not work, they don't value art as passion. They don't value it at all. And I'm just, AR art is never going to replace us artists, like ever. And the thing is, like, it won't exist. It can't exist without us. We're more important than we realize, okay? Because all of it is just stealing and stealing from people that don't want to be stolen from, okay? All the art that you see out there with their terrible mistakes, like all the AR art, I mean, with their terrible mistakes and the shading and all that stuff, that was stolen from a real artist. And I just want to use this to take a little tangent and talk about regular people who like make AR art or like, you know, generate it or do the prompts and silly things like that. Like recently I saw like on WhatsApp, there was this Meta AI thing where you could type in prompts and it's delivering AI generated message directly to whatever group chat or whatever chat you're using on WhatsApp. Like the people that are making the stuff aren't tech bros. They're not NFT bros. They're not those kind of people. They're just regular people who are goofing around with a prompt machine. And the thing is, yeah, you can have a fun time. You can laugh. You can be like, oh my gosh, the AI is doing this, blah, 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 blah. The hands aren't right. But at the same time, you still just made a piece that was stolen from another artist. Like whatever you just generated, even if you were generating it to have a little laugh, it was still made from the stolen works of another artist. So I don't believe in this whole concept that's going around as well. Another tangent, sorry, that's going around about stealing back from the AI. You're not making waves. You're not doing anything profound or spectacular. You're just stealing from the same artist that you said you didn't want the AI to steal from. If you want to make a point to say AI is stealing from me, so I'm going to steal from it back. Hello, did we forget who AI stole from in the first place? Did we forget that it's stealing from you? It's like putting your hand into your back pocket and being, yeah, that'll show whoever tried to put their hand in my pocket. Like, that's a terrible analogy, but like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, stealing from AI doesn't make any sense. You're still using it. You're still advocating for the use of it, even if you think you're doing it for this little self-righteous thing or we're getting justice. No, justice would be more regulated laws regarding the use of it, okay? I can admit that there are some AI-generated images that are pretty funny, and they would have been cool if they didn't have such terrible foundations. Like, there are some stuff that I've laughed at that I realized it was AI, and I was like, ugh, this sucks. Because like, come on, like, yes, there are some very funny prompts that people can come up with to create some interesting images. But at the same time, like, don't you think if you paid a local artist near you to create that same image, that it would have been better? And you would have helped somebody, you would have bettered someone's life, and you would have gotten a really cool image out of it. Like, it's a win-win situation. But the truth of the matter is, it all just comes down to selfishness. I want to get a great piece, but I don't want to give anything back to whoever made it. Like, I just want everything for free to be dropped into my lap, because that's how the world should work for me. That is how people that are advocating for the use of AI sound. Like, that's it. And the thing is, the really, really jarring part is that there are so many artists who have art out here, like on the internet or just basically free to use. And there are so many artists that wouldn't mind if you used images from them if you just gave a little bit of credit. Like I can't really see a need to be AI generating something. If you could, I don't know, like commissioning is there, but also there's artists who would just, do it for the fun of it. And we wouldn't mind if you just gave them a little bit of credit. That's what it all just boils down to. A little bit of credit. That is one of the biggest issues when it comes to art and talking about art and how, and it has really manifested itself in AI art. Pinterest full of reposters and people that will never find the original artist, but they'll still post it because, oh, I like pretty image. They are basically like the genesis of AI art. Okay, that's a bit too extreme. But like, it does not make sense. If it doesn't make sense, don't tell me it doesn't make sense. I know it. Admit it. No. Here's what's probably going to happen. Or here is what the future would look like if AI art was the norm. It would be that we would have so many billboards of AI generated images. Like we're seeing now, there are so many ads I've been seeing on Twitter where they use AI generated images. And it's just, that looks awful, okay? That looks very uncanny. Yes, I know it's not art, but like it's still, I'm just against AI generated like images and art. Okay, I'm going to use them interchangeably. I know the topic is on AI art, but AI generated images, they kind of fall under the same thing basically. But let's stick to AI art. Using AI art for brands, yes, it's becoming more apparent and more pervasive. Like why I've been seeing a lot more ads with AI generated art and AI generated content basically. And that just makes me want to stay far away from your product. Because what on earth, like the human being that is supposed to be on this image looks like an alien. Why on earth? Why would I want to buy your stuff? But anyways, I know in the future that AI art will be used by really big brands and stuff because they always want to find ways to get out of losing money or giving money out to people that actually deserve it that aren't them. Okay. These brands, they don't want to actually pay people for their hard work. They just want to collect and get richer and richer and richer and buy everything and destroy the planet and blah, blah, blah. You know the gist of it. I think that's what people are really worried about when it comes to being afraid of being replaced by AI. People that make art for those big name brands, they know that they're getting a big check. Okay, they're getting a big check from the brands that they really wish they didn't have to give. They don't want to give you that money, but because you're an artist who knows your worth, you are charging them for that, and they're gonna comply for now because they didn't have this whole AI art thing to fall back on or to use. And now that they do, well, they're gonna jump at the opportunity. I mean, free art, and I don't have to pay someone. Why wouldn't I do that? That's basically, the gist of it. And that's what would happen if it does become in the future, if it becomes a big thing in the future. Like people think it's a big thing now. It's kind of getting there, but I really do hope that it gets more regulated and it's very apparent when things use AI in them. I like what YouTube has started rolling out because when I make these videos, it has this little option to tick whether or not there are AI generated stuff in your video. This goes for AI generated art, images, voice, all that stuff. And I think it's great to have that there because I'd much rather know when something was made by a human being than when something was, not. It's just for discretion. Okay. I know there are lots of people that do use AI voices because of maybe insecurities with their own voice and stuff like that. I don't have any issue with that. I'm just saying it's nice to know beforehand whether or not something has AI generated content, so that you know whether you want to interact with it. At the end of the day, the AI art, in my personal opinion, I think it would really harm people that work for big companies. And obviously, if they are the ones that are getting harmed, it'll just trickle down to the rest of us small artists that are working for small companies. Because once these big companies are, not taking a hit from using the AI art, the rest of the small companies will be like, well, why on earth am I paying this artist? I can just go generate some stuff myself. And they would go do that as another artist out of a job. And we all know the, struggling artist thing. Finding jobs is already extremely hard for us. So this whole AI art thing would just make life worse. And it's so unfortunate that the people that, I know I said earlier, why should we care that it's going to replace us? But the thing is, the people that don't value us are the same people that also pay us when it's obligatory or obligatory. I don't know how to say that properly. There's like maybe a handful of companies that actually do value their artists, but most of them, if they had the choice to just not have real artists on board, they would immediately go for this whole AI art thing. And I do get it now after this stream of consciousness. Like my brain has been forming stuff, and it's like I do understand the fear, okay, of not having a job, because it's already hard to get a job now. So imagine if there's this disgusting thing that's stealing from people like yourselves, and you're not getting any credit for it, and they're taking your job now, so you're not even going to get any money at the end of the day. It's scary, okay? It is scary, and I get that. I do get that. I don't really have a solution here. I'm just here to complain with the rest of you. Like, it's scary going into the world as a younger artist, like myself. I'm not that young though. I'm not like a teenager or anything. But going into like the workforce and stuff like that, it's going to be considerably harder as the years progress, because AI art is, unfortunately, it might not be going anywhere. I don't know. It's so bleak. I'm really trying to think of a good way to speak about this and like say there's hope for the future. But I just know like there's just going to be, artists are too vocal. We're too vocal and we're too in the know about this stuff that we'll never just let big brands using AI slide. I know recently there was a case about a Netflix show or documentary, actually, a Netflix documentary that was supposedly showing a case of this woman. It was an AI generated image of her, I think, being happy about in a situation where she shouldn't have been happy, or where she was never happy anyways, but they generated that image. And I don't know if they have taken it down by now. I didn't really follow up with it, but I remember seeing that on my Twitter feed, and I just felt like, this is awful. But there were so many people calling it out. That's the only reason why I saw it on my feed, because of people calling it out. And I think that if we use our collective voices to make sure that we name and shame these brands that are trying to use AI art and AI generated images, if we just make sure that we're not going to associate or elevate or even work with companies like this, it could really be a game changer, because it's the voice of the people is a lot more powerful than the people themselves even know, as is very prevalent in many of the ongoing crises in the world right now. The voice of the people will always trump over everything. And that is what I am going to leave this video on here and give as, parting words of wisdom from the wise, sentient. Use your voice. If you see a brand using AI generated images, you should probably call them out for it. And I don't mean like, maybe calling them or sending an email. No, that's what I mean. That is what I mean. You should do that. You should let them know that as a customer who has been using their products and stuff like that, that you're very disappointed in the fact that they would use AI generated images or AI generated art when there is a human artist that they could have used to make that art and pay that person, give them a livable wage, and keep somebody off of the streets. That is a really great thing that I think we should be doing more. I haven't experienced anything like that in my vicinity where I live, so I haven't had the need to do that. But I do make it clear on my social medias that I am retweeting every single thing that has to come from artists when it comes to calling out brands that use AI art. It's a small thing that we can do, but it does work, okay? These brands don't like public shame, okay? They really don't, and it's very effective against them. But yeah, artists, remember, nobody can ever create the most heinous stuff that you create, and AI art will never replace your amazing pieces, okay? They will never replace it. They can never replicate it in the same way that you would. So while your fear is valid, just know your worth as an artist is always going to be there, okay? This has been Wise Words from Sentient. I hope you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed the silly little image that I created here. I will see you all next time.